being a digital nomad is that I don't have to trade off my work and earnings to be a traveler and to have vacations. I can do both. I can travel while working and I can work while traveling. Because I'm on a Schengen visa, I'm allowed to visit multiple countries within the Schengen zone. I have visited around 7 countries in the last 5 months, and I've mostly been living in Estonia, in the capital city of Tallinn. For a digital nomad visa in Europe, Estonia is a great option because the embassies are not so busy compared to the Western European countries. The demand of the visa is much less, and also it's much cheaper to live in a country like Estonia compared to Western European countries. To apply for the digital nomad visa in Estonia, you need to pick one of the two, the C type or the D type. The C type is a short-term visa which is for people who want to stay less than 90 days within the Schengen zone. And for a longer stay, you would want to go for the D-type visa. In case of C-type visa, you need to visit the VFS, and you can submit your documentation and get your passport back with the visa from their center itself. But in case of D-type visa, you will have to go and visit the embassy and submit your application there. For the up-to-date requirements of the documentation, you should refer to the embassy website. A very important eligibility requirement is a proof of having certain amount of income. I've mentioned the amount here, and you can refer to the embassy website for the most up-to-date information on that. At my time when I applied, the list of documents that I had to collect was of course quite a lot, but I have the list here. You need to start with your application form, which you can easily download from the embassy website. Firstly, I had to present my work contract. I had to also obtain a no objection certificate from my employer. I needed to show the past 6 months of payslips. I think it's reduced to 3 months now. I needed to show my proof of funds, which was like a bank statement from my savings. You're also supposed to attach flight and your hotel or accommodation itineraries along with the application that you write. I also wrote a letter in which I wrote the intention of why I want to visit Estonia, what's my motivation, and what I would do once I reach there. Forget to attach your insurance, which should have a coverage of minimum 30,000 euros. You can easily buy from multiple agencies available online. You also need to explain, maybe in a letter from the employer, that your work is completely remote, which has to explain what your job responsibilities are and how you can function remotely from a different country and continue working for the same employer. I started my application process at VFS, so I simply booked an appointment with the VFS New Delhi. I went there and submitted all of my documents, and I was required to pay the fee, the visa fee as well. It took me around 10 days to gather all of my documents, and after I had them all with me, I went ahead and booked a slot for around 1 week from the date when I decided that I will be applying for the visa. And it took me around 10 days to gather all of these documents, making sure that I get to the bank and also have my statement stamped and signed. All of that process did take time because I had to request documents from here and there, from my employer, from the banks, and all of these. Also, I got my slot under the category of visitor or business visa because there was no category of digital nomad when I applied back in October 2022. So if you see the slot to apply under the category of digital nomad visa, please go ahead with that. Otherwise, business or visitor should be fine. After the application process, after submitting everything to VFS, I made sure that I was in constant touch with the embassy as well. Yes, it's not usual at all, but I was really proactive in making sure that all of the documentation is complete. So I followed up with the Estonian embassy in New Delhi and made sure that they had all the requirements that they needed for proceeding with my application. Once I had submitted all of the documentation, I got my visa in around 7 working days. It took longer than usual because there were some documents that I had to resubmit. But make sure that you put all of your documents together as mentioned on the website. Go and check them one by one before submitting your documentation, because otherwise it can result in rejection as well. Since the visa category is really new, the embassy is really strict in issuing visa to a very selected group of people. And make sure that you have everything all set, originals if possible stamped and signed, before you make the final submission. Usually over documentation never happens because once you get to the office, they will let you know what not to submit. So you can go ahead and bring all of the documentation possible, from your vaccine certificate to your study documentation as well. So take all of your documentation there and submit as they request you for certain documentation. I wish you all the best with your visa application process, and if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. So keep following me, subscribe my channel if you want to see my adventures in Tallinn and know more about my digital nomad lifestyle. I will be happy to share more information as well. Bye-bye.